All right. Looks like we've got a good group of people that have rolled in. Hope everybody's having an awesome day. Um, Spring is here, so hopefully where you're at, warmer weather is starting. We do have a beautiful day here in Michigan. It's in the 70s, and tomorrow I think it will be cold again or something crazy like that. But very excited for this month's elevator pitch. We host this each month. We bring on three of our IT vendors, our sponsors, to give us their elevator pitch. Our goal here is to educate about what they do, the value that it provides to you, and basically how you can implement this within your organization. As MSPs, we're always looking for new ways to improve our organizations, whether that be from a profitability perspective, efficiency, productivity, the client experience, or also from a cybersecurity perspective. And so, great opportunity. What we're going to do is we'll start things out with each of our three presenters. Each will get that 10-minute time frame. And then we'll open up to our demo rooms where you can see a little more hands-on and some Q&A and get any additional questions answered that you might have. Um, I do want to make sure everybody is aware we have $250 of cash that we're going to give away to one lucky attendee. So you want to make sure that you stay all the way till the end. And you might just be a lucky person to get $250 of cash to do some fun things this weekend. So, with that being said, we're going to start out right away. And our first speaker is Chris Allen. And let me go ahead and spotlight Chris here. There we go. How you doing today, Chris?
Pretty good, Dan. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, and it's good to see and have you here today and representing Auvik. Um, Maybe
Augmentt.
one thing you could do is just give us a quick overview of your role at Auvik and how long you've been with the organization.
At Augmentt. Like, yeah.
Oh, did I just say
You
did
said
I just say
Augmentt.
August?
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh
They're
my gosh.
yeah,
Augment. Yes.
similar
Sorry.
names.
I don't know where that came from. Distraction, we'll call it that.
Okay.
But yes, at Augment.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been with Augmentt for 2 years-ish, just coming up on 2 years now, and I'm the vice president of sales. So I lead the sales team. Also have some sales engineers that report into me, and also partner success. So really the
Excellent.
full client journey.
Very good. And as you know, as we do on each of our elevator pitches, we always like to ask, one awesome question, which is tell us something unique about Chris that people might not be familiar with.
Yeah, I was racking my brain coming up to this. I knew it was coming. Um, I think one interesting thing, I went to university not to do anything sales related at all. Kind of fell into my sales career as is pretty typical. I think a lot of salespeople fall in love with
Yeah.
the success or the winning business, etc. I actually did geology and paleontology
Oh,
in
wow.
university. Yeah,
Yeah.
geology
Yeah.
rocks.
There
Um,
you go.
yeah.
It is interesting. I speak with a lot of people in the IT channel, and it is interesting where the original goal was nowhere near where they landed. But most people are very happy with where they landed, and I mean, I always say to my kids, things always work out some magical way in the end, and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick things off here with Chris with Augment, and we will go ahead and start your 10-minute timer right now. If you have a screen to share, you can go ahead and share that, and your timer has started.
Okay, perfect. I just sent in a request to be
There
able to
you,
share screen. Oh, got it.
there we go.
Perfect. Okay, so my name's Chris. I am the Vice President of Sales for Augmentt, as I mentioned, and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about Microsoft security or M365 security for MSPs, how to strengthen client security, build trust with your partners, and also unlock new revenue opportunities. So who are Augmentt? Probably a good place to start. We are a leading Microsoft security and management platform for MSPs. We're channel only, so we focus on only MSPs, or we sell only to MSPs. Got about 900 plus MSPs that we work with, about 1 million seats or more under management, about 27,000 SMBs secured on the platform. Our founders, Gavin and Derek, also founded Enable, who I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with, based out of Ottawa, Canada. I'm told sometimes that my accent is starting to become Canadian, but I grew up in Cork in Ireland, so I'm a bit of a blow-in. Have customers in 28 countries. Some of the largest MSPs in the world work with us. And we are SOC 2 Type 2 compliant. I think that's table stakes these days for security companies. Cool. So why is M365 security, why does it matter? Why is it important? First off, and don't fact check me on this because it might be a little bit out of date, but the last I checked, about 95% of the world's small businesses use Microsoft, be that SharePoint or OneDrive or Outlook. And it is by far and away the most targeted platform. Why is that? Because SMBs don't have the expertise to configure Microsoft, and there's typically a perception that when you buy Microsoft, you're buying a premium product, so it comes secure out of the gate, which I think we can all agree is not true at all. So cyber criminals will buy a list of email addresses and passwords. They'll run it through an automation, and whatever sticks, they'll start targeting those people. It's a case of really like you're probably too small to make the news, but you're never too small to get hacked. And a lot of these small businesses do not recover, right? So your clients, if they were to get breached, the cost of that breach is likely to put them out of business in a lot of cases. We're seeing cyber insurance having more stringent requirements to be able to get insurance. Premiums are going up, and there's a lot more investigation after the fact as well. So we're seeing this trend of it becoming more and more important, and also more and more complex. The challenges, again, the complexity of the Microsoft security ecosystem. If you've got 10 or 100 or 1,000 clients, having to log into each individual portal and try and configure policies and postures is pretty much impossible, I would say. And then having to continuously do that to monitor for drift away from these different policies and baselines that you've put in place. Shadow IT is a constant issue. And then the alerting side of it, trying to get actionable insight into things that are happening in your environment. We've seen the whole gambit from people getting no alerts and having absolutely no visibility and no insight into what's happening, to people getting so many alerts that the technicians are just ignoring them because they don't know what's actionable and don't really know what to do with them. So those are some of the challenges. How does the Augmentt platform help? Well, in a lot of different ways, I would say. First, on the security side, for security analysts, allowing them to lock down environments, get L1 techs doing the work of L3 technicians. So we allow you to create those security configurations and baselines and apply them, not just a kind of a one size fits all, but also allowing you to overlay different frameworks like NIST or CISA Scuba, align those with different industries that you serve as well, and the security operations as well. So if you've got a security operations center, having those actionable alerts and insights into the environment and allowing people to remediate those alerts like very quickly as well, and from the Augmentt platform. Help desk, again, simple things like password resets, having to log into one environment and then another environment and then another environment is onerous. So we have a multi-tenant platform that allows you to manage all of those requests quickly and seamlessly. And we also allow for a permissions set, so that you can give your clients access to Augmentt and only access to the help desk portion of it and only for their own tenant. So you won't even receive those tickets. And then the last piece is on the financial side. We've got some really great reports that allow you or that help with the billing reconciliation. Another maybe a little bit of a different view into the Augmentt platform and how we help your business is the security templates. Like I mentioned, we allow you to template postures, policies, and different settings, align those to different frameworks, align them to different industries, and really build a full playbook for your technicians to deploy best practices to your clients. So proactively managing the security for your clients and making sure that everything is locked down the way it should be. The ongoing detection, not just of real alerts or breaches, but also of any drift from those policies, to give you those actionable insights to make sure that nothing bad is happening in the environment. And then the last piece is the compliance reports. So customer-facing reports, not just around billing and reconciliation, but also around the actual environments that you're managing. I think everyone on this call again will have heard the what have you done for me lately question, be that if something bad happens in the environment, you'll get asked that question, or if nothing is happening in the environment and you guys are doing a stellar job, the client just isn't aware of what an amazing job you're doing, they'll ask that question, well, what am I paying you for, right? So we try and tackle that issue by giving you these really nice, clean client facing reports that you can use not just for maintaining great relationships, but also for cross-sell and upsell, which takes me on to threat reporting. Threat reporting is a prospecting tool that's part of our platform. You could think of it as a 100-point car inspection. It's never going to say what's great in the environment or what's good in the environment. It's going to talk about all of the areas for improvement or the issues in the environment. Gives you a really good talk track around security, around upselling Microsoft licensing, helps you with selling hardening projects, and also ongoing maintenance and support around Microsoft or Microsoft security. And that's our free giveaway. I think I have it on the next slide. Yeah, so it's a free giveaway. It's designed as a prospecting tool to help you grow your business, again, either as a cross-sell or for a new business. If you scan the QR code, then you'll get free access to the Augmentt platform to use as a prospecting tool. And we've also created a turnkey campaign with all of the email marketing, et cetera, that you'll need to be able to go out and proactively sell Microsoft security services. Going pretty quick there. I'm excited to get some people into the breakout room, show you a demo of the product, answer any questions. And yeah, really looking forward to that. And that's my time.
Excellent. Great job presenting that information. And I tell you a couple of notes that I took. The key thing that you mentioned is of prospects and even clients saying too small to make the news, but obviously, or of us indicating to them, but they're large enough to have some kind of a breach or incident, and so incredibly true. And I think the challenge is always that they hear about enterprise incidents that make the news, and
Yeah.
so their mind is, well, I mean, I never hear about so and so's law firm down the street being hacked, but it's happening all day long. And the other thing too you mentioned is just shadow IT. I think that is a huge challenge. And I don't think any of the end users are trying to skirt around and do something that they don't really want to get themselves in trouble with. They're just trying to do a great job. And they just want to make their job more efficient and so on. And we just have to be more aware and leverage tools like Augmentt to identify that. And
Yeah.
so thank you for that. And we're going to move on to our next speaker. We got Jeanette Haugen. And Jeanette, how are you doing today?
Thanks, Dan.
Oop, you're on mute,
Yep,
Jeanette.
I knew I would do it too.
No problem. How are you doing today?
Hanging in there.
Excellent. And Jeanette, you are with ConnectBooster, which is a Kaseya company, And so before we jump into your presentation, if you could give a little background about your role at ConnectBooster and how long you've been with the organization.
Yep. So ConnectBooster was founded about 15 years ago. We are located in Fargo, North Dakota. So if I have a little bit of my yash or your accent in there coming out, it does come out from time to time.
Yeah.
I have to blame my mother-in-law on that one, on that good Scandinavian accent. But more because we found our own need, that we needed the solution. It was built for our own need first, and then found out that there was a need for the MSP space. So it was kind of done by accident. I've been with the company for almost 8 years. I've been here prior to the acquisition and currently am the product executive responsible for everything and everything on ConnectBooster, whether it's the product, the sales. It just seems the buck stops here when it comes to ConnectBooster.
There you go. And how about one unique thing about yourself that we might not be aware of?
The one unique thing that I was going to share, or I am going to share, is that I foster about 20 to 25 cats or kittens a year. I'm very
Wow.
active in animal welfare in our community. And so when I get stressed, I foster cats. And so at times I can have lots of
Yeah.
cats at my house. I am truly the crazy cat lady.
Well, that is awesome. We got to take care of our furry friends out there. Dogs and cats are part of our families, and so I'm going to go ahead and start our 10-minute timer, and you can go ahead and start sharing your screen, and your 10 minutes starts now.
Okay, let me see if I figure out where to share in Zoom here today. Sorry. Sorry, I'm not seeing the share, so just give me a sec.
Should be right at the bottom of the screen, the green button with the arrow pointing
Yeah,
upward.
I figured where it went now. It's all
Okay.
because we got one too many windows here.
Ah, yes. They always hides at the wrong time.
Yes, and that's what happened. It went down to the bottom of my second screen. So can you
There
see
you
my
go.
screen?
Yes, we are set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, welcome and thank you for this opportunity to share a little bit about ConnectBooster. And ConnectBooster is this tool that can help you ensure that you're actually making money versus being maybe a nonprofit or offering your services for free. We've already learned just a little bit about me. As I said, I'm the product exec for ConnectBooster. I am located in Fargo, North Dakota. Not all of Kaseya is located in Miami. We are all around the world, especially when they keep acquiring companies. So just think about that. I might be in your back corner. Okay, so successful MSPs are focused on many things, but in order to be truly successful, you need to be efficient, you need to have your mind on cash flow, and you also still need to be worried about where your expenses are, that you're cost conscious. So if you're going to be efficient, you got to understand how those burdensome processes are really impacting your businesses. So this here is a typical billing process. And when you look at this, it's really hard to follow. I mean, it is all over the place. You are probably working in a PSA and you're working in an accounting software and you are sending out multiple communications and you're doing lots of checks and balances all over the place. And all of this, because it is honestly, when you see that it's this busy, is not an easy process. And so what you really want to do is figure out how you can collapse all of this busyness to make things a lot more streamlined. And so that's where ConnectBooster can help. We can actually focus so that then your billing experience is easy, the reconciling experience is easy, which then makes it easier to collect the money, and then you means you get paid. And so taking that huge busy diagram and simplifying it down to having a customer portal and or invoice notifications going out to your customers so that they can pay you, where you can easily reconcile that to your accounting system, that then you collect your money quicker, and therefore then you can grow your business. The ConnectBooster connects to tools that you already use. We connect to many of the common accounting softwares that you use. So that will push that data back to your accounting software and as well as to the PSA. I like to say that ConnectBooster is the bridge between those two different products, almost making you then feel like you've got an ERP system, allowing you to combine that data from the PSA along with the data in QuickBooks or your other accounting tools, so that your customer has no idea that you really invoice out of two different systems. And when we take that functionality and combine the two together, we'll save you time. Most of our users are saving at least 2 hours a week, and over half are saving 4 hours a week. Okay, if you're going to focus on cash flow, you need to know and understand how you're going to get paid. And ConnectBooster has what I call a smart auto pay. It isn't just a scheduled payment based on a given amount. It will actually do an auto pay based on a given type of contract. So you can set up auto pays and divide and conquer which payments are going to be done and when. So if you have customers that are on monthly agreements, you can set up an auto pay for a monthly agreement. But if they have a project-based contract, or maybe even just hardware, and that is not even tied to a contract, you can have that auto pay exclude that. So here's like a quick little example. This auto pay here is actually going to a certain contract and saying that if it is going to pay this, it's only going to pay for the invoice that's named CBMSP. You can split it up so that it's also done by terms. You still can also do an auto pay that's less than in a given amount. And so it's smarter than a scheduled payment where you're saying pay X amount on a given date. It's actually going to use criteria that is coming from that PSA invoice and combining it with logic from the accounting software. Well, successful MLPs, they've got to be cost conscious. You've got to understand that when customers aren't paying you, that it's going to hurt your business. So many customers have a large outstanding accounts receivable before using ConnectBooster. The average we found is almost 50 days. After starting to use ConnectBooster, it's less than 2 days. That means from the time that they're actually saying that invoice is due, they are paying within 2 days. Now imagine that if you could count on your money every single time that you're sending out those invoices. So ConnectBooster starts with this portal that this is your view on, so you can see which customers have the largest outstanding balances. And from there, you can start welcoming your customers to a customer portal and send out invoice notifications. So who wants to be a successful MSP? I hope all you do. And so if you want to learn more, use this QR code to get a demo. And I look forward to meeting you later today in the demo room.
Excellent. And let me just pull myself back in here. There we go.
I
There we
stayed within
go.
my time limit, see?
Yes, yes, I love it. So when you pulled that chart up of the chaotic, just the whole billing process, I think that resonates with most MSPs. It is a chaotic process, and cash is king. I go back, to one of my very early business mentors, and just hammering home about cash is king, and being able to get paid within 2 days is what helps us to be able to keep that cash flow where it needs to be, to ensure that we have a sustainable business. So leveraging tools like ConnectBooster to make that happen is critical. So I want to thank you, Jeanette, for that. And we're going to go ahead and move to our next presenter. We have we've got I just lost for words here. Ben Bernstein. I almost called you Ben Benstein, but we'll say it properly. And let's go ahead and bring you in here. And how are
Appreciate
you doing
that.
today?
Doing
Yeah.
well. And you can call me whatever you want. You keep giving me opportunities to speak on your platform. You can call me Ben Benstein all you want.
Not a problem. So glad to have you here. And if you could give us a little background about yourself and your role at Huntress, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ben Bernstein, I am one of the founding technical account managers over here at Huntress. So I've only been here for about 7 months, but one of the things I'm really excited about is that up until this past year, there hadn't been any sort of technical account management program or platform, and now we're finding ways that we can give some of our partners a more dedicated technical resource or step in when something's hitting the fan to make sure that people are being taken care of.
Awesome. And how about one thing unique about Ben that we're not aware of?
I don't know if you're going to believe me when I tell you this, Dan. I have ridden a bull in a rodeo.
Oh, wow. Very cool. And you survived to tell us.
I
So that's a good
survived. It was
thing.
a bucket list item. I wanted to say that I had done it. It was a lot of fun. Great story for another time, maybe a breakout session after the quick little 10-minute pitch. But
Yeah,
very happy that I did it and never to be done again.
that's cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. We'll go ahead and start your 10 minutes right now. And you can go ahead and share your screen and you should be
Awesome.
good to go.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Dan. I'm here once again, Ben from Huntress. Just really quick background on me and why am I chatting with you guys today? I've been in the cyber and IT world for a while. Before I came to Huntress, I worked at Red Canary with a really strong focus on large enterprises in the Fortune 500, Fortune 100 space. But like my true roots, I worked at an MSP for about 8 years, both on the technical side, humble beginnings as help desk, working my way up to becoming a sysadmin. And then I made the switch over to be a little bit more client focused, a bit of account management and VCIO work. But I take a lot of like the lessons learned in that, I guess, enterprise security space at my last job. And I was really intentional when I decided to join Huntress and be a part of this journey of building out this new team that I really still wanted to focus on a lot of those same enterprise grade security outcomes, but being a part of a mission and a team and a company that's really there to empower all businesses, especially MSPs and small businesses, not just platforms and great, cyber solutions, but more than just sort of like the 1%. So we feel really passionately about making sure that we're able to give everybody the same access to those types of security outcomes. And when you think about some of the other tooling that's out there, a lot of the time, these cybersecurity solutions are often built for somebody else. Usually, like you get into a platform, but then you have to build out all these rules, or you need to have an expert. If you've ever been a part of like a Splunk build out or a Sentinel build out, you're either paying a ton of money in professional services or hiring a small army of people to essentially make the tools usable. Or maybe you're buying something and it's going to come with all these additional bells and whistles and features that you're basically expected to pay for, but you're not really using. So our focus is to be really intentional with the way that our software works, the way that we let our users and customers access our platform. And like I said, we are specifically working with organizations like you guys. We work with over 1.5 million identities, over 3 million endpoints. So, I mean, if you've ever spent time in the r/MSP subreddit, you've probably heard Huntress's name. We love working with MSPs all day, every day. Another sort of differentiator about Huntress versus a lot of other sort of managed detection and response companies or EDR companies is that we own our own tech stack. So at my last job, we would often be at the mercy of other sort of EDR providers' API changes. So if they made a change to their API, well, then we had to react to make sure that we were ready to make changes and make sure there weren't going to be any breaks in our platform and our delivery of security. So being able to own the tech stack, being in full control of the overall roadmap, making sure we're actually hitting the mark with what does the MSP community and the small business community actually want is a huge differentiator. And so what is the Huntress Managed Security Platform? Well, it's really 4 simple products. We are going to protect your endpoints with managed EDR. We're going to secure your identities with ITDR, that's Identity Threat Detection and Response. We'll help to train your employees and encourage like a culture of security awareness. And lastly, we've got a SIM that will help to make sure that you're checking the right boxes from a compliance perspective and provide a little bit more insight into what's happening in your clients' environments to make our threat hunting even better. So why monitor, detect, respond? You might be thinking, I've got an antivirus. Why do I need anything else? I feel pretty good on this front. Well, the tricky thing is that the attackers are getting smart and they're trying to use a lot of the same tools that, let's say, your IT department is also using. When they remote into the computer using things like Screen Connect or TeamViewer to troubleshoot, well, the bad guys have the same access to these tools. So if your computer sees the execution of TeamViewer or Screen Connect, they're not necessarily going to know, well, this is a good guy using it versus a bad guy. And that's why it's so important to have a company like Huntress watching out for the behaviors. What happens after TeamViewer was starting to run? What is actually being seen from a process perspective? And so that's really what our EDR is about. And in the breakout session, we'll kind of like break down some of these cool like buzzwords and terms over here, like persistent footholds and ransomware canaries. But at the end of the day, the big thing to think about here is that we've got world-class elite threat hunters around the world. We've got amazing EDR that's going to fit into your budget, and we're loved by users. I mean, you take a look at that CSAT number, 98.8 is almost unheard of. And we are literally ranked #1 on G2, 10 years in a row. So that's pretty sweet. The other cool thing about Huntress is that we can either complement or replace your EDR. So if you've already got, let's say, like a WebRoot or a SentinelOne, cool, we'll work alongside with it, no problem at all. But if you're looking to maybe reallocate your WebRoot spend or one of these other companies, you could actually switch over to Microsoft Defender and have Huntress manage it for you. It also then gives our SOC a little bit more insight into what's actually happening on your endpoint, not just from what we're observing, but from what your AV is finding as well. We also have an ITDR product. So we're looking at your Microsoft 365 environment. We're looking out for things like, hey, someone's broken into this account, someone's stolen a password, or maybe they're creating suspicious inbox rules, or they've bypassed MFA doing some sort of creative session hijacking. So we are really like the leaders in the ITDR space. We have amazing folks like Matt Kiley, who is leading the charge, and a lot of other companies are kind of looking over their shoulder like, hey, what's Huntress cooking up in the land of ITDR? Like I said, we also have a SIM. So this is like a little bit of a different take on SIMs. You used to think of SIMs as being these expensive, kind of cumbersome products, and you didn't really ever get a whole lot of value from them. We've purpose-built them for MSPs and small businesses to quickly get compliant, quickly onboard, and once again, give our SOC a little bit more insight into what's happening across the entire IT enterprise. We also got SAT, so we want to make sure that we are offering memorable, story-driven episodes where users actually like watching our security awareness training videos. It breeds sort of like a culture of security awareness. We want users being really intentional when they're clicking on things and going through their emails. So we see actual results from when people onboard to once they've been fully enrolled and been using the SAT platform for a while. And then really like one of the last things I want to hit on is just our SOC is awesome. We've got a 24/7 SOC around the world following the sun. So when someone's responding to a threat at 3 a.m., it's not some dude rolling out of bed trying to bang out a Red Bull. It's someone in that time zone who is ready to investigate and has all the info they need to help you out. We've got a super fast MTTR. What is MTTR? MTTR is your mean time to response. So between the time where we have raised some sort of alert to when we're closing out the incident, because we can respond to these threats on your behalf, the average is 8 minutes. That's pretty fast. The other thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about an MDR provider is, are your MDR provider, are they just regurgitating alerts, or are they sort of a leader in the space? And so like when you take a look, especially like that Clio vulnerability, we were like one of the very first people to ever find this vulnerability being exploited. And we were literally working with Clio, the legal software, to find some sort of workaround and to advise the community on how to be in good shape if you do have Clio running in your environment. But I mean, you take a look at some of these articles, we are truly like the leaders in the space. And I think that's a really important differentiator. I already mentioned we're constantly rated #1 on G2. So literally the most satisfied of any sort of MDR company that's out there. They love our EDR, they love our MDR. So if you guys are interested, check out the breakout session, schedule your demo, check out this QR code, and really just wanted to say thank you to Dan and to Talon for giving us the opportunity to speak. This has been a really fun experience. So thank you to everyone at Everything MSP.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben. And, you know, I think one of the critical things that jumped out at me is just that ability to detect and respond to so many threats, especially that some of them that evade other security tools. all without really having to add any staff by leveraging Huntress's team. And I think that makes a huge difference for those MSPs that are scaling. And so thank you for that. And we're going to move on to our next section here. And before we begin, I just want to send out a reminder that we do have $250 of cash. So hang tight till after all of our demo rooms, because we'll go ahead and randomly select one of you that are sitting here and one of our attendees for that. One other thing that we're going to do is throw up a poll right now. Taylor's got a poll out there, and you can just go ahead and let us know if you want to hear from Augmentt, ConnectBooster, or Huntress. Go ahead and complete that poll. Of course, if you want to hear from them all, go ahead and select all three, and we'll pass this information on. Now, as you're filling out the poll, I just want to let you know that we're going to move into our breakout rooms. All of our presenters will automatically be moved to their respective breakout room. You have the ability to jump in and out of any of the breakout rooms, or as we call demo rooms. At the bottom of the screen, there'll be a button in Zoom that says breakout room. When you go ahead and click on that, you're able to pick from which breakout room that you want to go to. If you start out with Augmentt as an example, and you've learned what you wanted to learn, and you want to jump over to ConnectBooster, and then over to Huntress, you can bounce back and forth. So with that being said, let's go ahead and open up our demo rooms. Talon, if you could, that would be great. And if you have any issues getting into your demo rooms, please let us know, and we can move you into whichever demo room that you wish. And as everybody is moving into their demo rooms, just also want to mention for anybody listening out there in YouTube land, or any of our streaming, all the more reason to join us live in the calls next month. We do host these calls once a month, and you can participate in the live call in Zoom, and just visit everythinmsp.com and go under our events calendar to learn more. For everybody that is listening to us on YouTube, we're going to go ahead and end our streaming for right now. And for everybody that is in the demo rooms, we'll be back with you shortly and give away that $250 cash.